It's ended up being a bad day. But if we start at the beginning, were the first 5-10 minutes actually exactly what you wanted?
I think first half we played very well. Let's say the game plan went on how we wanted, and we defended very good, closing the spaces, getting into the press, keeping away from the own goal. And they almost didn't create one big save from Andre in that start, but I think on that point already we had our opportunities from 2-3 great breaks, and just we had to take benefit from it.
Yeah, is that a familiar tale this season? Winning those regains, creating those transitions, but not making enough of them?
No, that's true. We have to take more from it, but then also the penalty is changing the game.
Okay, what did you think of that penalty?
I don't have a comment on that.
Okay, but is it Højlund's mistake? Does he lose his man, or is that one that if we gave all of those from a free kicking corner, we'd be giving 2 or 3 penalties every match?
I don't have a comment.
Okay. Your change at half-time with Mason Mount coming on, what was the thinking?
To go more offensive. We are losing the game, and do it straight on after half-time. You expect, you have to go more offensive, and we did it by getting Christian Eriksen off the left side, go quicker up to Alvarez, pushing, and then with Mason Mount an extra offensive power to get into the game, to change the game.
Yeah. Did you lose some midfield stability though from that change?
Absolutely, and game plan, first half we were very disciplined, and then you see how successful you can be, but second half we make there on the second goal, we make a mistake, we make a wrong decision by going up to the keeper in the wrong moment and not recover quick, and then they get into the game, they get power in the midfield, they can switch the play. Players coming in wrong positions, and they make a great goal. But it started with us by making a wrong decision, not any more shape, and then they will outplay you.
So, in hindsight, do you regret that half-time substitution?
You can't say that because we had to, because we had to create, and because we are losing the game, and you can then wait, clear. But also when you have Mason Mount on the bench, you can expect some creativity.
You made a couple of changes later on in the second half as well. Boos when Rasmus Højlund was taken off. Can you explain that decision for us?
Rasmus Højlund is playing every game, and he's not used to it. And against a City, the front players have to work very hard to get the press on. So you have to protect those players then as well. And for the team, you have to protect them as well to bring new energy on the pitch.
So you were happy first 5-10 minutes, happy actually first half, but really disappointed with the control they took of the game second half?
No, you can't say that like this, because the game plan was good, but it's changing the game, and then you are losing, and then you have to act as a manager. You have to, especially when you have a bench, then you have to use your bench, and you bring more offensive power on the pitch.
Okay, 10 games in, Eric, Premier League, over a quarter of the way through the season. You've lost half of those Premier League games. Why has it been such a difficult start to this campaign?
Yeah, but last year we were in the same situation, also after the game against City. So we have to forget this game and recover next game, Wednesday.
Okay, and I suppose, was it 15 months in the job? The job is catch Man City in terms of points, but also in terms of style. Do you feel closer to Manchester City than you were when you began the job?
So I think once again we played now 3 times this year against City, and again we played in all those games very good.
Do you think today was very good?
First half was good. We make them very difficult, and the chances were similar, and then they got the first goal, and then second half that was not the way we have to act. Also, I can accept that, But I think if you see, obviously, all 3 games, we played very well against them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
But we'll talk about that bigger picture, about the 3 games that Manchester United have played against City in the calendar year. But in terms of Ten Hag's assessment of this game, where he said it was a decent first half, but he felt he needed to maybe use his bench and get a bit more attacking power on the pitch. Do you think that was the right assessment? Do you agree with it? Do you agree with the decision, the tactical decisions?
I think I agree with what he said about the fact the first half wasn't that bad, and I thought it was okay, and I thought the defensive side of things were fine, and City did, you know, struggle to create openings, and they got the goal, which was, I think, was a soft penalty personally, but it is what it is. But I was asking the question as soon as the substitution was made. When I saw McTominay alongside Eriksen in midfield, I thought that was brave, if not a little bit reckless. I didn't think it would work, and I thought MRBEAR must have been injured, but we've just had it confirmed to us that he wasn't injured. So I don't think it was a great day for his substitutions. I think his substitutions last season were amazing, and every time he made substitutions, it improved the team's performance. I thought today, actually, the substitutions made the team's performance worse and opened them up more. So I didn't think it was a great day, but you know, I'm in the camp of, I think I've seen this now 4 or 5 managers down the line of basically second season, third season where they really struggle. And we end up rinse, repeat, exactly the same things happen again, where we start talking about the same stuff. No one's been able to unlock Manchester City. The performances of Manchester United and City have not been good. They haven't been good. I was at the cup final, sat there with 90,000 other people. The performance wasn't good by Manchester United. That performance in the second half today, to be honest with you, was appalling. And to be fair, I think MRBEAR coming off emptied midfield. I don't think that was the right assessment of that particular performance. But my anger isn't with Erik Ten Hag. I don't believe he's the fundamental cause of this problem.
I get what you're saying in terms of, you know, rinse, repeat, different managers and stuff like that. But we're now into the second season, and we'd all say, you know, it went well last season from where Manchester United were. But none of us here can still explain what Manchester United try to do in terms of how they play. He's been here now, what, nearly 18 months. We've seen Unai Emery come in at Aston Villa. We've seen Postecoglou come in now at Tottenham in a very short space of time. Now, that doesn't mean you win every week, but when you go to the games, you know what you're going to see. We still don't know what you're going to see with Manchester United. You tell me how they play with the ball.
No, Carragher, and look, to be honest with you, I can't disagree with you. Those managers that you're talking about coming into stable environments, they've currently got over their heads a guy all over the news going to own 25% that's going to basically come out and
Why will you not listen?
Why do I have to listen to you but you won't listen to me?
Come on.
Right. So basically, you imagine you're in a business, you're in a football club, and the news is that there's a guy going to come in and basically wipe out the whole football department. You imagine what's going on inside that football department at this moment in time, in and around Erik Ten Hag? It is toxic and embedded negativity. They all think they're all going to lose their jobs. I know you can say carry on with it, you know, they're professional, but you imagine what's happening. Jim Ratcliffe's going to come in with Dave Brailsford, they're going to sweep out the football department, they're all going to get moved away. That's what's happening. I honestly believe this toxicity that exists at this club, and has done for years, by the way, it just eats alive every manager that comes and every player that comes.
Okay.
You know, so Harry Maguire was going to go to Manchester City, Mason Mount was going to go to Liverpool. They come here and it's a graveyard for them. Are we going to keep blaming the kids in the class?
No.
Are we going to blame the head teacher?
OK, so we can't analyse anything Erik Ten Hag does or any performance from Manchester United.
I've just said substitutions were poor today.
Okay, but what I'm saying is everything goes back to the ownership. Of course, it's not right. The supporters are not happy. But what you're talking about is a style of football. What he's doing on the training pitch, Monday to Friday every day, has got nothing to do with Jim Ratcliffe coming in. What does he want those players to do? Right. When they're building up from the back, and we see every top team in the league do it, what are Manchester United trying to do with the ball? They're playing underdog football, and they have done since he come in. Gary, let me finish. You just spoke before. They play counter-attack, and they play a lot of long balls. No other top team plays like that. That's got nothing to do with what's going on above him. What is he doing on the training pitch? Look, players he brings in, and what's he asking the team to do?
Carragher,
you can't see it.
I completely agree with you. They've allowed another manager to dictate policy and the tail wag the dog on recruitment. They brought 8 players in from basically a league that Erik Ten Hag thinks he trusts players. And they did the same with Ole, the same with Jose, the same with Louis van Gaal. The problems are above it. I'm not saying that he's not culpable for the mistakes that he's making. He's got injuries to Martinez, who helps him plays out. He's got injuries to Varane, and Varane's only just coming back. So there are issues why he can't play out from the back. He's not got Casemiro in midfield, so he's got 3 players who fundamentally are his connection from defence.
Casemiro's one of the worst decisions they made.
No, what I'm saying to you is those players, they'll help him play from the back. Well, obviously, I don't like the football at all. I have no idea what the repeated patterns are that they're trying to put in place. But the bigger picture of Manchester United is that we've seen great managers with great reputations and great players with great reputations come here and just die in front of our eyes. Why is that? How do we answer that question?
Do you know how Eric Ten Hag is trying to play at Manchester United?
No, not really. I'd have to agree with what's been said. It's obviously a difficult watch. It's been a struggle. Obviously, the expectations last year was can he get in the hands of the trophy and get top 4, which he managed to do. But this year has definitely been a problem. Again, we go back to recruitment's huge at a football club. Of course it is. And there's too many players who've come to the club over the last 18 months, 2 years, who've not been good enough. And obviously, we're well aware that Man United, the price involved, United always seem to have to pay over the top, which seems to be part of the package. The concern is obviously Ten Hag's brought players in that he's obviously worked with, and you think he'd know them a bit better and their characters, but they've come to Man United and it just feels a bit too much for some of them. We can analyse the game today in terms of the physicality, the midfield. They're like children out there. They haven't got that physical presence to get round the park. And too many of the players who've come in for the fees involved haven't done the business.
Just on the point about them being players who've played under Ten Hag and have come from Eredivisie, there are 8 players in that group who have Eredivisie experience, maybe haven't come directly from there, but that has been part of their football progress.
That goes back to what Gary said before, and he's right. Sometimes when we talk about the top at Manchester United, I think there's sometimes this feeling around Manchester United that the manager doesn't get what he wants. Gary's right. I think the manager, you get too much power. What's going to happen when Eric Ten Hag moves on? You've still got, you know, all that sort of group of players. They're sort of embedded with him. And when I say I'm more critical of the managers, I go back to last summer. And I know Casemiro did well at times last season, but I go back to that. Signing him and Eriksen was not things that a top football club in their position should be doing. They're at the end of their careers. They've had to replace them already with Mason Mount and Amrabat, and we're questioning whether they're good enough. So 12 months later, they're replacing players they bought 12 months before. That's just not joined-up thinking at a top football club.
I think when things aren't right at a club, Dave, I think one bad decision seems to follow another. We've seen the other clubs. And Man United were doing it great. Maybe if you look back 10, 15 years ago, and they get a lot of credit for it, obviously the manager there, Ferguson, you David Gill, who were getting a lot of plaudits for the structure of the club. But now there seems to be, obviously, chaos. Obviously at board level, which there is, which we know, and they're taking that onto the pitch.
Go on, sorry, mate. What about the decision? I feel like I'm just attacking Eric Ten Hag. But a big decision he's made. Who's made captain? Bruno Fernandes should not be a captain. We're sat here with 2 Manchester United captains.
The first thing I would do
is a captain for Manchester United.
After today, I haven't watched him again. Obviously, I would definitely take the captaincy off him, 100%. I know it's a big decision. Obviously, to change the captaincy with Maguire. Fernandes is not captain material. I think he's a talent. But what I saw today with him again, I know we've discussed this many times before, was at Liverpool last year. His whinging, his moaning, his throwing his arms up in the air constantly. It really isn't accepting. What we saw today, I'm thinking, I would take that off him. Because I think you have to start somewhere. You're talking about where do you make change? You're talking about board level, managers. I would start at that because the manager is capable of doing that. And hold his hand up and say, listen, I got it wrong. Fernandes is a brilliant footballer. In terms of captain material, he's the opposite to what I would want in a captain.
I think it all goes back to what Carragher said, is how Man United going to play. We've seen the signings there. So, and I don't want to bring City into this, but Man City signed players for a style of play. The players that we've seen that Man United have signed, we don't know where they're going to fit in. So you've got Højlund, who's an excellent footballer, but he's playing with wingers who want to come inside and shoot. So how is he supposed to get the chemistry with the players he has alongside him? Then you go into midfield, which the guys have talked about. Are you playing with 2 holders? Are you playing with 1? If a sub comes in, does he know what job to do? And then you look at the back 4. It was always going to be difficult for Man United today because of the back 4. Evans is similar to my age, obviously coming from Leicester. He's had his injuries. And I just think for Man United to be in this position now, after money they have spent, it doesn't matter. You can have whatever manager you want. You need to have...
You know, Mike, you make a good point. I think if you come watch Man United today, we've obviously come to... You do not know what you're going to get with Man United. And that's all right if you're a small club. You turn up at United, they've won the last few games. OK, they get out of jail. their record, their goals for and against, the players who are coming in, they're not hitting the ground running, players are coming in with injuries. It seems like whoever's making decisions in the background with their manager, they're getting it wrong at the moment, and they're big mistakes.
It's just that Micah says he's the same age as Johnny Evans. You must have been a pundit for about 15 years. Oh, you're 35.
I look about 45. It stressed me out in the studio. Honest to God.
Gary, you sort of talk about this rinse and repeat kind of cycle at Manchester United. They haven't lost more than 3 Premier League games across the whole era until this season. This is the most games they've lost after 10 games until since 1986, 1987. So it's 5 this season. It was 6 in that era, which is when Ron Atkinson was replaced by Sir Alex Ferguson. These are the next few fixtures coming up for Manchester United and Eric Ten Hag. Is there pressure on the Manchester United manager?
Of course there's pressure on him now, and we've seen it before with Ollie, we've seen it with Jose, we've seen it with Louis van Gaal, we saw it with David Moyes after 8 months. We know that Eric Ten Hag will come under pressure. And like I said, I think Eric Ten Hag should continue to be the manager of Manchester United 100%. I think today, I mean, United could have got beat today, by the way, even if he'd had a good day. I don't think today was one of his best days in terms of sort of the midfield. I didn't think it was great, but the reality of it is, the last few weeks, the performance has been so poor. You know, I came here against Brighton a month or so ago. They got absolutely battered. They were lucky against Brentford, lucky against Sheffield United, lucky against Copenhagen the other night. They were appalling in the first half. So the level of performances are really, really poor. And at this moment in time, I can't quite see a way out of it where we're going to get to in terms of performance levels. But, you know, changing the manager, absolutely not. That's not where I'm at. I don't think where 99% of Manchester United fans are at. But there's no doubt he's having issues. He's hitting the same issues. Ollie got to a point where he was second in the league, got to a Europa League final. He then brought in Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho, who were deemed as being fantastic signings at the time, by most of us, by the way, and all of a sudden it went bang. So each manager has got to this point whereby they've sort of reached a level where you think, right, next step's there, but it all goes like that. And it's happening to Eric Ten Hag before our eyes.
The bigger problem I'd have with Eric Ten Hag than the other managers is that when you had sort of Jose and Louis van Gaal, they still played their way. But the supporters didn't like it. It wasn't Manchester United's way. Ollie came in, obviously wasn't a top-level manager. This guy's coming from Ajax. And because of that football club, you'd automatically associate that with playing a certain style of football. You can see those repeated patterns throughout a game. That's the bigger worry for me, because of Eric Ten Hag and what his past has been, that the performances are as bad as they are. I mean, it's really shocking when you sort of see them trying to build up from the back, play through midfield, and you see the other top teams do that. They're a million miles away from it.
There was a time a few years ago where I thought, to be fair, there were some pretty poor characters in the dressing room that were here for basically the paycheck and just using the club. I don't think we've got that in this changing room at all, to be honest with you, at Manchester United. The sad thing is about this group is I think actually probably they're really good lads who want to do well. But when I see videos of McTominay like on social media about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and fans are accusing him of not running back, that's just the weight of the world on his shoulders. That's not a lack of effort. That I know you disagree with me on this, Roy. But honestly, when you're heavy-legged, the world's on your shoulders, the pressure of the club and the scale of it, that's what I think these players are suffering from, not through any lack of effort or desire.
That's part of the package, Gary. That's part of the package. Listen, we got stick when we played for Man United. You remember he plays tricks in you. We used to get stick and we were winning stuff. So that's part of the package of playing for Man United. That courage, that bravery, wanting the ball when you don't want it. I didn't see that. I'm not saying these are a bad group of players. But don't go down the road, they're all great lads either. You love that one as well. Everyone's a great lad. But what we saw today in the second half, we're talking about even when United were getting pulled all over the place. I'm still looking for 1 or 2 senior players to start pulling people back in. Maguire at the back, Johnny Evans, the 2 centre-halves, for example, 2 experienced players, played hundreds and hundreds of games, experienced international players. So when United were getting run ragged, even for the second, just sit in. I don't understand that bit where you just go and get lads in and go, listen, for the next 5-10 minutes, we need to sit in. United they set in pretty well in the first half, where they're pretty solid. OK, they weren't really a threat going forward. But where's that experience from these so-called characters of these experienced players?
He sat in the first half, and it looks like Eric Ten Hag's gone in at half-time and thought the way forward in this match was to be more attacking and go for it a little bit.
Well, he gambled too early.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody in the stadium thought that was the right thing to do. The thing to do was to stay in the game at 1-0, probably with 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go, and then maybe have a little pop at them like they did last year. They scored in the 78th minute last year and the 82nd minute. So I think, for me, he went too early, opened his midfield up and then got exposed. And at half-time, when I saw that substitution, I thought, thought, is he injured, Amrabat? I'm sort of like, he must be injured because he can't come up. He wasn't brilliant first half, don't get me wrong, but him in there potentially alongside McTominay, with maybe Bruno coming off the wing into the midfield, that would have been still as solid, and I thought we still would have been okay. But as soon as McTominay went in there alongside Eriksen, I just thought it just looked, and McTominay then started having to get the ball off his back four, which he's already been told he's not good enough to do that because Ten Hag wanted rid of him in the summer. Where McTominay has got some freedom in the last few weeks is that he's just left him up front, being almost like a centre forward, and going running into the box, and he's done all right.
But a lot of times we've said recently, but United, and not just against Man City, sit in and play under counter-attack, as if Man United are, they're so far playing the other teams, they're happy just to sit in. Yeah. But you still expect more from Manchester United. It is Man City. Man City are a brilliant team, another level up, but you're still Man United. You still have to stick your chest out and go, listen, we'll try and take you on one way or the other. Instead, they just got weaker and weaker. Again, the big worry for me today is physically, United look so off it, particularly second half. And I know we've had many conversations, when you're up against Man City, they do tire out and you pull you left and right, but that's where you have your experienced players say, let's sit in, let's be solid for the next few minutes, and yeah, we can have a go at them. But when we do get it, we talk about the great players at Man United, show that courage when you're in possession, instead of giving away cheaply. We talk about the captaincy again today, even Rashford.
20th derby against Manchester United, 11th win. Was that a performance that just got better and better and better as the game went on?
Well, we play sometimes. Always have a good feeling here. I think the players give the best, and I'm really pleased for our fans. I know what does it mean for them. For many decades when Sir Alex was here, so always was see United there, and for the last time, yeah, we changed the tendency, and especially for the way, except the first 5-10 minutes that we lost. Easy balls against that team is so difficult, so dangerous. After that, we take the control, and after the second goal, we make a fantastic game.
So after those first 5-10 minutes that you mentioned, how key is Bernardo to getting you that control? You like?
I could say I would be 10 minutes talking about what does it mean Bernardo for me, for our team. So he's a player that is beyond good in all departments, and solidarity, intelligent, and understand everything. And we are in love with him, so that is our reality.
Erling Haaland just said that as well. I mean, is he one that we don't talk about enough? Are we talking about an absolute great Premier League footballer?
Bernardo?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is, no tattoos, no big cars, and he dressed not maybe for higher style.
He's a footballer, not a celebrity.
Yeah, that's for sure. So he's humble, and everybody loves him in the locker room. So we were scared to lose him.
Lucky he stayed.
Yeah, absolutely. He's irreplaceable. In many things, he's irreplaceable. So, and I know he's happy here. Now he's my father, and he settled perfectly. And yeah, and he loves. He said to me, "I love to play here in Old Trafford." And every time we come here, he performed really well.
2 goals and an assist for Haaland. I mean, there was also a few chances that got away. I remember you saying in the week he's born to score. Is he just one that he might not score every chance, but he will always be there?
That's the point. So today I had the feeling, because Onana was exceptional, I could have scored 4 goals. So all the time, and I remember against him there, he moves incredibly well in the box. He's another type of person that everybody loves him. So yeah, we are lucky to have him. Lucky, and I'm so pleased for him. So I know scored 50 goals, and the people expect to score 70 this season. So that is not about. But in general, he's a guy that parades us there. So you see the numbers even that season. Talk to people, how many goals Song on the other ones, big compliments. But he's got more. So he's a top class player.
After the Arsenal game, then the international break, have we seen from your team what we always see from your team? They react.
Well, Arsenal won because it's a fantastic team. I think my strategy, I would say, was not reflecting after, was not good. And
I've not heard you say that before. What was wrong?
We play in different way to attack, because I thought the spacers would be in another position, and after that I said it was not good, but it's happened. I'm not compare myself a lot, so it happened in the next one. And the players knows that the Premier League is so tough, and yeah, we Brighton was important to break that defeat, and after the way we played in Switzerland against Young Boys helped us a lot to understand what you have to do, and today we prove it again.
And last question, a special reason for wanting to win today as well? Wife's birthday? I think you've said something,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 50. It's come for the club for the 50 years old, my wife, and of course the players give me, all our family, tremendous present. So thank you so much for the players, the staff, our groom staff. I'm pretty sure my wife will be happy.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, she gets a happier husband this evening. Gary Neville joins us now. Gary, look, it's not necessarily going to be a happy husband this evening after Manchester United's defeat. But look, from Pep Guardiola's point of view, Erling Haaland was saying earlier to Pat, he just loves Bernardo Silva. And we heard what Guardiola was saying about him. Then you gave him the player of the match. What is it you think that Pep loves about him?
Obviously his quality, obviously his performances over the last few years, but I think, look, in that first 5-10 minutes when it was difficult for City, you always think about who gets hold of the game for you, and I thought Bernardo Silva got hold of the game. And there have been many players like him over the years that don't get the plaudits because they're not the spectacular player, they don't dress as he says, they don't have the fancy cars, but they sort of knit a team together, and I thought it was sensational, just the way in which he sort of glued everything together from that moment where City got a grip of the game to obviously the end when City went, could have scored 3, 4, well, did score 3, could have scored 4 or 5.
I think what's so good about him as well, Gary, is he can play in so many different positions. He can play in the 6, he can play in the 10, he can play in the 8, he can play in the wing and consistently play in them positions very well. That's what makes him so valuable to this team.
He just said to Pep then, they tried to man-mark me.
Is that what he said?
Probably. You know what I mean? It's like they tried to man-mark him with 2 players, one half, each half, and he just took them all over the pitch.
And what Pep said about him there, he said his football intelligence. That's what he is. When to take a first touch, when to kill the game, when to pass it forward, when to run forward. Obviously, it's all up there.
That versatility that he has, that you mentioned there, Micah, is that why it was so important, why they fought so hard to keep him?
Yeah, I was gutted to see Gundogan go as well, just because whatever he's done for the team over the last couple of years. But Bernardo is just different level. Gary's summed him up perfectly, and his attitude. And not only that, he works so hard for the team. Not only on the ball, off the ball, he's outstanding. He's a perfect player for this system.
So this win takes Manchester City to within 2 points of Tottenham. They're in 3rd place in the league. So they're not top and they're not clear after 10 games. But are they, Jamie, do you think, title favourites?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. I think that's any debate about that. I've got the feeling with City a little bit like when I was coming up against Gary and Roy, where even if Manchester United in years gone by weren't top at this stage, it's almost like they're getting ready for the second half of the season in some ways. And that today was, OK, it's a big game. Put on a show, let everybody know how good they are. They're still the team to beat. And I think they'll win the league comfortably this season, I do. I don't think Liverpool are quite ready to really mount a serious challenge. Arsenal, of course, did that last season, but even though they made a great start, Arsenal, I don't sort of see them playing as well as they were at this stage last season, so I'm not quite sure everything's 100% there, and I just think, yeah, I think City will win it.
And they've had that mini wobble already that they normally have a little bit later in the season. That's out the way now, Micah.
Yeah, and I think them games, there was missing Rodri. Rodri is the key to this success of this team, the way he commands the ball, dictates the tempo of the game, allows the people like Bernardo Silva to go forward. We don't even talk about Foden and Grealish. They was outstanding today as well. So, yeah, it's good to have him back. I'd like to see Kovacic fit into this system as well. Obviously, he was on the bench today. But, yeah, they've just got quality all over.
Yeah, they've got options, Manchester City. Does that make them title favourites for you, Gary?
I mean, they are title favourites and always will be whilst they're in there. I just think, you know, will they pick up some injuries? The effort of last season will at some point take its toll, and that's why I said that maybe Arsenal could do it this year. But if City play at the level, then they'll win the league. I mean, today, they didn't have to play at the level today. Let's be clear. United have sort of huffed and puffed a little bit in the last few weeks against Brentford, Sheffield United and Copenhagen, but they were lucky in those games. I mean, United are one of the poorest teams they'll play in the next few weeks. You know, they're really poor United at the moment. So, you know, well done to City today, but that isn't the biggest test they'll have by a long shot.
Thank you very much to Mike Dean there, pretty much explaining what you guys understood as the reason the penalty was given, and then it was Haaland stepping up to take it.
He said someone was shouting, Keane, was it you?
I think, is he talking about Robbie Keane?
But he steps up and it was...
Yeah, it didn't affect his focus,
It
did it?
didn't. Never in doubt.
No, cool as you like. Never expect him to miss it, no.
He's such a clean striker of the ball, Erling Haaland, and then he managed to make it 1-0. And then it was this header for the second goal.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant football from Manchester City. We just see Dalot there, the right back. He's trying to go on the overlap, and he starts walking. He needs to be getting back a lot quicker than he is. But some of the passing here from Manchester City, all one touch. And then you see Bruno Fernandes. He's got to try and get himself back in. To be fair to him, he puts a shift in to get back, which he has to do. And as we mentioned, McTominay had gone over that side to try and look after Bernardo Silva. He doesn't match the run. But the man at the back post, Erling Haaland, he'd been in that position before. And that's a brilliant header, because I don't think he timed his jump perfectly. He's almost trying to take the sting out of the header. But, Michael, some of the football's outstanding.
It's just amazing. One touch, two touch in that centre of the park. And I just think the decision-making with Man City today was brilliant. We mentioned the chance in the first half with Bernardo Silva with a header, and this time it was dispatched perfectly. I just don't understand how you can leave Haaland in that amount of space at the back post. We mentioned man marking with the midfield. If you just watch his run here, this is the most dangerous player in the Premier League. He's got all of this space. No communication from Man United. And like Carragher said, little deft touch there just to get it in there.
A brilliant goal and a brilliant finish, and obviously makes it look easy, and obviously stretching. But United were so open. They're still only 3 or 4 or 5 minutes into the second half. United were so open. It's really poor from United, brilliant from City, but United, no communications. They looked all over the place, and it just, well, what wasn't good from United. Again, brilliant from City, but United too open, considering it's still only 1-0, 3 or 4 minutes into the second half. No need to be that wide open so early in the second half.
And as you say, he'd had a rehearsal in the first half where he didn't quite get the header right. I mean, it was a really good save from Onana, but he didn't quite get it in the right place.
Yeah, if you look at here, he gets the timing perfectly, and he almost heads it too well. You know, he gets the right contact, give the keeper a chance. You just see here, he almost needs to glance it, just hit on the side of his head to go in the other corner. But then this one, he's almost up too early, so then he's got to sort of readjust himself and then just have a lovely little touch. Let the ball meet your head instead of going to head it as hard as you possibly can, which then just gives you the loop over Onana, and it was just a brilliant.
That's from the experienced goal scorer.
I thought I explained that quite well, to be honest.
Very good.
Did. And what's interesting is that it's a conversation that it looks like Haaland was having with Pep Guardiola after the final whistle as well.
Yes, he always said that I was sort of jumped too early, and you know Pep is never happy. And he's talking about Onana here, getting him in the right position. You've got to put it in a different corner, I think he's saying.
All for sure. It's all for sure. This is all for sure.
I mean,
why? What would be the point of that?
I don't have that chat in the dressing room. It's the big deal.
It was a great header. That's the big
It's a lovely header. Yeah, we've done about for 5 minutes. Just get on the tunnel, enjoy your victory.
Yeah, but it's got us talking about the difference
in
the two headers, which we were going to have a look at anyway. To be fair, did we get an insight from that?
I think Pep is not saying anything that we probably haven't all heard when we were kids. You know, ball comes across, you put it back where the goalkeeper's coming from because you can't change direction and go back the other way. That's all it was, but Pep does that a lot, doesn't he? And I'm a little bit with Roy. I think Pep does do that sometimes. Listen, I think we all love him, think he's probably the best coach in the world.
Klopp does it. We admired Klopp for doing it.
No, but I mean the coaching sometimes. I think sometimes he does do it for the cameras.
Or for the fans to be able to get a little bit of an insight, and for us, you know, as the entertainment side of things. Look, he had a chance for a hat-trick. He gave us a very full explanation on this. He went, no, Phil was clear, so I passed it to him.
Yeah. I don't know if I was in this position. I'm going for a strike. No. But again,
I mean, you would imagine he's thought about scoring here.
Yeah, if first time could he just curl it into the far corner. But fair play to him. He composes himself. Again, the amount of space he's got. There's no one near him. First one to react, and then just squares it across for
United have gone there. Eriksen, look at Eriksen here. Again, that's the worry for me. The physical side again for United. The players are. Listen, I know they've been run ragged and they're tired in the season when you're watching, but you just can't let people walk past you. But Haaland's done the right thing. If a player's in a better position, you've got to try and find him. So. The correct pass.
I mean, there were 10 minutes to go of normal time there, and we know we're getting 5 to 10 minutes. I think it was 6 in the end here. we know we're getting extra, so there's 10 minutes at least of the game still to play. Did it feel like it could get worse for Man United?
Yeah, it could have done. I think against City there are a couple of levels to go for, but obviously they're obsessed with controlling the game and possession. I think if City wanted to get another few, they would have done them. United keepers made 2 or 3 great saves. It could have been a lot worse for United today, and you know, really poor day in the office from very, very poor. Again, they're so far off it. It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Might say is simply living up to its reputation. Rainy here in Manchester. We're at the Etihad Stadium. I'm Derek Ray here in the commentary position, and joining me will be Lee Dixon. And looking forward to bringing you action from the Premier League coming right up. It is Manchester City up against Manchester United.
Well, I'm excited about this one. Great atmosphere in here. Everybody looking forward to this game, especially me and you.
The referee has decided to give the free kick decision the way of City. Stones. And the cross is very much on. Well, the attack showed promise, but easy work for the keeper in the end. Rashford. He's in here. And the ball is loose. Well, the defending not the best here. Using all his defensive acumen to cut it out. Kevin De Bruyne, one of the complete midfield players in the modern game. Lee, what do you expect we'll see from him? Can he do it to take the lead? And a goal! City jump in front in the derby. And just listen to what it means to the fans.
As we can see here, it's great play. They force a mistake by pressing really high up the pitch. And when they win the ball back, just look where they are, within striking distance of the goal. Great stuff.
Action underway once more. Let's see if United have the wherewithal to square the game. Cavani. Well, he likes to run at them. And moving the ball nicely. Rashford. Well, he knows he can do a lot better on the shooting front.
Well, how many times has he had that chance in training and scored? On that occasion, all over the place.
Alexander Zinchenko. Gabriel Jesus. Might be able to set up the chance. Gabriel Jesus! And he's made it a brace for himself. The defender's just unable to stay with him. And he's having a field day.
Well, here's the replay. He's done really well to get his head up and pick out a teammate. And then a 2v1. Both of them teasing the goalkeeper. That really is a lovely worked goal.